Hello, everybody. We're going to take a look at lesson 2 today. So before I get you started with that, I just wanted to talk about what we're going to be doing this lesson. All right. So first of all, I want you to think about some of the similarities and differences between the lists and variables. Last lesson, you did a lot of work with lists and using operations with lists. This particular lesson, we're going to see how it's implemented in code or used in code. And we'll get some more practice in the next lesson as well. All right, so what are some of the similarities and differences between lists and variables? So think about that. One thing is both are used to store information. Lists can store multiple items, but variables can only store one. When written in JavaScript, both start with var, and lists have square brackets. There's other similarities and differences they have, but the biggest thing is knowing that they both store information and lists allow you to store multiple different things. Programs that use lists are much easier to read and manage. So that's why it's important to understand how to work with them. So in this particular lesson, you're going to go to code.org. There's a couple videos which we'll actually watch together here so we can answer some questions and talk about them. And then there's an activity guide that you're going to be working with. So let's start the video first.
One of the benefits of lists is that their length can grow and shrink over the course of a program. But that means it can be useful to find the length of a list at a given point in time. You can get the length for a list like this: numList.length. When your program runs, the computer will replace this with the current length of the list. In this case, the length of the list is 6. A potential point of confusion is that even though the length of a list is 6, the last index is 5. This is because we start the indexing at 0. Because lists change size, a common issue in programming with lists is, what's the index of the last element? We typically find out using the expression list.length minus 1, and you frequently see it used to access the last element of the list like this: numList, and in square brackets, numList.length minus 1. Lists are a very powerful way to store and maintain data in programs. They open the door for us to write programs that use and process lots and lots of information, especially when we don't know ahead of time just how much information needs to be stored. Let's try them out.
Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to follow the instructions in the first part of the 5-2 activity guide. Let me show you that quick. You're going to see a lot of different code in there that deals with lists, so you're going to try and answer questions about it. So let me just show you the activity guide. We just watched the video. For the first part, you're going to pick either the Outfit Picker app or the Brand Namer app on level 4. If you pick the Outfit Picker, you're going to answer those questions. If you pick the Brand Namer, you're going to answer these questions. We can watch the video now as well, but it'll also be in code.org if you want to watch it again. After that, for level 6, you're going to answer questions about the PairMaker app. So the first 2 apps, you can choose one or the other. And just answer these questions. I'm going to put up another video talking about some of the answers because they might be a little bit tricky, and I'll show you where you can find some information as well. But you're just going to be using a lot of new code, and it's going to be important that you understand what it means and how it's used for your lists. And then this is just a screenshot I took of the very last level in code.org that you can use as a reference. All right. So let me just show you really quick what it's going to look like in code.org. So you're going to lesson 2. We just watched the video, like I said, and then you're going to either choose this app to investigate. And I do want to point out this design tab up here. There's some information in there that will help you answer some of the questions as well. So you can look at the code, but also the design. The other app is part 4. So again, you can either choose the outfit picker or the brand namer. And again, you're going to want to follow the instructions on the activity guide and answer those. You'll see a lot of new code here, but again, check out the design as well. All right. I just want to take a look at this video also, and then I will leave you be. Like I said, I'll put up some helpful info videos if you're having trouble answering some of those questions.
You can also assign or update a particular index's value. You refer to the slot the same way. Names at index 0 gets the value Sarah would replace the current value at index 0, just like assigning a new value to a variable. Once you have created a list, you can modify it by adding items, removing items, or inserting items. To add an item to a list, you can use the append item function. Let's add Kelly to the end of the list of names like this. Append item names Kelly. Notice that append item is a function that accepts 2 parameters, the list name and the actual value that you want to add. Appending an item always adds the value to the end of the list. To remove an item, you use, wait for it, the remove item function. If we want to remove Josh from the list of names, we'd need to know the index where Josh is stored. So we could do this. Remove item names 1. When you remove items, the whole list shrinks and it closes the gap of the item that was removed. Now our list has 4 items, indexed 0 through 3. Because the list shrank, items that come after the removal point are effectively re-indexed. So if we once knew that Kelly was stored at index 4, Kelly is now at index 3. This is not a problem, but something to be mindful of. We can also insert items into the middle of the list with insert item, like this. Insert item names to Brooke. The insert item function needs 3 parameters, the name of the list, the index you want the new item to appear at, and the value to insert. Inserting an item grows the size of the list. Similar to remove item, the items in the list that come after the insertion point will be re-indexed. Because indexes are just numbers, you can put anything in between the square brackets that evaluates to a number, like variables or even arithmetic expressions. For example, let's say we're keeping track of temperature readings in a location with a variable called loc. Var loc gets 3. We can change the value in numList at index loc like this. NumList at loc gets 1.
All right, so just a few things to think about as you're moving through and looking at these different apps. Like I said, you'll have a little bit of opportunity to kind of play around with the lists here, but we're really going to get into it in the next lesson. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me. But again, you're just answering the questions on this sheet, and those videos are there if you need to refer to them. Have a great day.